Alright, so we found the queen, and she is a queen from this year, 2022. So that means that we are going to mark her with a yellow dot. So I am going to reach down in there and carefully just get these bees out of the way. Well, of course, leave me alone. Grab her by the wings. I drop her in the palm of my hand. And then I personally like to use my right hand, which is my dominant hand, to grab her thorax. It's just the way that I do it. And I'm like to stick my hand on something that I can kind of hold it up against, and I use my left hand to mark. And there's the dot. You can make it a little bit bigger if you like. Just try not to get her antennae, and definitely not her eyes. You can get on the wings, that's alright. She's already gone on her mating flights, but that's a nice yellow dot right there, and I'm just going to hold on to her for a second. You can use a clip. I'm going to leave a link down below for these USA made pins. They are very inexpensive, and they are awesome. They last longer than anything else that I've ever used. Now, getting back to the video, we're going to release this queen over in here. This horizontal hive produced 100 pounds of honey this year, but they've shrank down quite a bit. They went through a supersedure. This is the queen that came back. So this is the third queen that's been in this hive. There was the original one that built it up, made a honey crop, then they requeened right afterwards, and then we produced 100 pounds this year, and now they superseded their queen again. This happens more often than we think as beekeepers, and when we don't mark them, many times after the honey flow is over, her pheromone production drops, her egg laying production drops, and it's natural for several colonies to go ahead and just supersede. Not all of them do this. So this is plenty of a good bit of time, and I'm just going to release her down into the edge here where she can be out of our way. Now, another thing that we're wanting to do is evaluate how much varroa do we have in this colony. We have a great new queen. We don't know what our mite loads are, and we have good nutrition. If you look down into this comb, you can see there's capped honey up in here, there's capped honey over in this frame, and you can see where there's sugar syrup as we have been feeding them, and it has worked great. And what we're using right now is a 2-gallon mother load feeder. I'm going to leave a link for that USA company. I was able to get those in bulk for $5.75, made in the USA. Whew, that bee does not like me. It's getting late in the evening. Now, what I want to do now is find a frame of larvae. The reason I'm going for a frame of larvae is that is where the nurse bees are at. So we will throw this back in this place, and I am going to grab this one. I've already identified it as a good frame of larvae. And now I'm going to use this tub right here. And as you can see, there's all this uncapped brood up in here. It takes tons of visits to feed each one of those. And so those nurse bees are all over this frame, and they have the highest concentration of mites on them because they are the most nutritious. So we're just going to shake a good bit of them down into here. A little bit of that sugar syrup came out. That'll be okay. We're going to smoke that. As you can see, there's forager bees flying out. Nurse bees do not fly yet. Woo, just about got that one. Let's give them a little bit of a shake so we can determine that we have all young bees. Now I have this Ceracell alcohol or soap wash, and this is Dawn Ultra in here. I'm using 1 tablespoon of it to a gallon of water. And now we are wanting to get a half cup of bees put in there, and unfortunately those will be sacrificed so we can understand what's going on in here. It kills them extremely quickly. I love the lid on this thing. It seals. And now we are going to shake that for about a minute. This is one of my least favorite things that I do in beekeeping. However, this has helped my business out so much. Now, as you can see right here, there's a lot of foam, and we just made this up. It's best if you're going to do this to go ahead and make it the evening before. Mix it up and kind of let that foam do its thing. It won't be quite so bad later. And we are hopefully not going to see a ton of mites in this. I've got a couple nurse bees on me. Go help that queen out. The queen can lay this time of the year in August 900, 700, 1,000 bees a day. Once we get into the fall flow, we're hoping to see her go over 1,000 bees as the nutrition goes up. However, we're sacrificing 300 bees, so we know what's going on. I think it's worth it for my operation, and the bees sacrifice other bees constantly. All right, I'm seeing 1, 2 right here. So 2 mites. Nope, nope, nope. Oh, there's more. 3, 4, 5. I'm going to give it just a little bit more of a shake. So I've seen 5 so far. So if there's 300 bees in here and there's 3 mites, that's a 1% infestation for 1 mite per 100 bees. However, we've seen 5, so we're knocking on the door of 2%. And this is the closest thing we have to accurately ascertaining what's going on with the mite loads. So we have 6 mites in this colony, a 2% infestation. Mites will reproduce in your colony roughly double every 21 days. So that's going to be a 4%, 8%. We're in early August. So by the time our bees shut down in late October, November, the mites are going to cause the hive to crash. And even if miraculously the bees survive, they will be such a weak, virus-ridden colony coming out of winter, they won't be worth hardly anything, unfortunately. So what are we going to do about it? We can look down in here and see we have about 10 frames of bees, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. There's a little bit more space for them to expand as that new queen is starting to lay hard. But let's go ahead and clean up the mites. Now, down in Australia, they have just found varroa mites recently, and we're hoping, and they're in our thoughts and prayers, that they can get rid of them. So this one's for you Aussies down there, and good luck getting rid of them. So these mites will enjoy this treatment courtesy of Australia. So what we're going to do in this trial is, last year we used Apiguard, and it worked great. It controlled the mites just like we wanted to. It took us down from about where we are now, about a 2% infestation, down well below 1%. We want to go into winter with under 1%. That doesn't mean 1% in September. That means 1% at the end of whatever your brooding cycle is. Then we can clean them up with oxalic acid. So that's what we used last time. We're going to do 3 rounds of Apiguard, and we are going to take that to 33 grams. We're going to do, like I said, 3 rounds, 33, 33, and you can do 34 if you want to be an exact 100. And then we're just going to get a card like this. This is just an index card. We are just going to squirt it just like that. The bees really don't like the smell of it, but they need to be able to get access to it. Half of how this works, I got a bee in my bonnet. Half of how this works, I'm a little nervous here. This one sounds like Laurel over here. It's giggling at me. There we go. Come on, girl. Part of the mode of action for the Apiguard, there you go, is that it has to be tracked down through the brood area. So wherever we place this, we'd like it to be in the center of the hive, so as they track it down and try to get it out of the hive, it's going and it's getting on the bees, and it's getting close to mites so it can kill them. Now, if you have a lid that's really close, like really shallow, and it kind of crushes it down, the bees won't be able to access it, and it will just dry up there and crystallize. You also have to have a pretty decent colony too. A weak colony doesn't do a good job about clearing a lot of this stuff. But if they don't track it, it won't work near as good. If you have a Langstroth hive, you can add a rim or just put an empty medium box on top of it, and when you're done treating, just remove the box. But you got to have that space up above. All right, so we're going to come back after a couple more rounds of this, and we're going to do another wash, and we will see where we're at. But these are the hard things that we do to keep our bees alive, and not just alive, but thriving, so we can put delicious and nutritious honey on the shelves of people all across in our area, Tennessee, and to also sell bee genetics and stuff like that. Our bees are important to us, and these are the things that we do to keep them alive. Thanks for watching this video, and if you have any questions about any of the things that we used in this video, leave them below, and I'll leave plenty of links below for you to see them. Thanks.